Alrighty, so today's project is going to be about fish, as you can tell. Now this fish is called a koi, and they are freshwater fish, and they are from Central Europe and Asia, and they like cold water. So you might think that a koi and a goldfish are similar, but here you can see the difference is a koi actually has these little whiskers and it's much bigger, it's much flatter on top so that its eyes are set in different places, and the fins and everything are very have a different shape. They're more frayed looking than your typical goldfish. So let's talk about koi. There's a lot of different kinds here. You can see all the different colors that they come in. They come in white, black, blue, red, cream, yellow, and of course orange. And they can have all kinds of different spots. So this one, for example, is the Kumonryu, and that looks to me kind of like a cow, and pure orange. This one is spotted, a paler orange right there. One of them has a big red spot on its forehead. There's another cow looking one over here. Anyway, so you have all these different types of koi here, and actually in Japan, koi are a symbol of wealth and love and success, and different colors mean different things. So if you receive a gift of a koi, depending on the color, it means different things. Like orange is for wealth, so if you receive that. And some koi can actually, like a really quality big koi can cost around $250,000. So I think you're already doing pretty well if somebody gives you a $250,000 gift. But anyway, here they are. They can live between 30 and 40 years. There's one very well-known koi that lived 226 years. So they can live 100 years or more, depending on the conditions. But typically, they're about 30 to 40 years. So plan to have them for like your whole life if you ever have koi in your pond. They're also intelligent. They like to live with each other. Here you can see actually a blue koi. Do you guys see that? This one has different blue on it. It's a little bit different than black. Anyway, I thought that was neat. So there's your kind of rainbow of koi right there. But they are intelligent. They get quite large. So you can see this little boy is feeding them, and they will recognize the person who feeds them. So they will actually know their owners and come over to you like little puppies and come want to eat. And they can you can train them to come up onto land like what these koi are doing, or to even eat out of your hand. So they can get pretty big. Here you can see this one is pretty good size. You can see the hand that's holding it right now. That's a pretty large koi right there. They can grow up to 3 feet. They have these nice, beautiful long whiskers. Like that koi looks like he likes to be kind of pet and hugged. There's an even bigger one. You can see the hand holding on to this guy is, this koi is quite large. And there you go. There's like a big, giant 3-foot koi. So they get gigantic. So there's that guy. And they eat plants and like pond plants and fish. They eat other fish. They'll eat eggs, lettuce, watermelon, peas, all that kind of stuff. Here's a bunch of baby koi, and you can see they're pretty small when they're born, and actually during mating season, the female will produce thousands of eggs that she kind of sprays in the water, and then the male fertilizes them when they're in the water, and about half of them end up living. And the kind of crazy thing is that the adult koi have to be removed when the babies hatch. The babies are called fry, and they have to be removed because otherwise the koi will eat the fry. So they have to be separated. But here you go. There you can see just a little bitty guy, very cute. And there's some being fed. Now these are being bottled fed, which is kind of cute, but that has all of the nutrition in it that a baby and growing koi would need. And I'm not sure why. I guess they did that just because it was cute, and they will do that. They don't really have any major teeth of any kind, so they can suck on a bottle quite easily without tearing it all up. But here's some artwork. Oh yeah, fun fact about koi is they need shade and to be able to go deep. They need deep water and shade because they get sunburned. And so if they stay close to the surface of the water, they actually get a sunburn. So yeah, that's why often in the parks when you see koi in the ponds, it's really, really shady and they can get pretty deep. So here's some actual Japanese artwork of koi, a black one and an orange one. You can see the Japanese writing here. If you remember back when we did Asia artwork, there's this little symbol in red, and that's the name of the artist. So that's one way that they sign with their signatures. But this is koi, and they are most often artwork of koi is done from the top view. So as you're looking down at them from a pond. And here's another. The first one is more traditional Japanese art, and this one is more modern. So you can see they still have, like here, you can see the crisscrosses for all the scales and things and the whiskers. So this one, the scales are a little bit more pronounced. They're not just crisscrosses. They look like little bumps on that fish, and they still have their cute little whiskers. And this one actually you can see has vegetation in it. It's got, you know, like these flowers and kind of, I don't know if you're looking down like through branches of some kind of pretty tree and the reflection of the flowers is on the water. I'm not really sure, but maybe you have a better idea of what's happening. And here is a more, this is a European version of another koi, and this one definitely has lily pads floating along the surface of the water, and the koi kind of swimming around in there, and you can see the shape. So if you notice, like the tail is pretty skinny and it gets fatter, 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 and then back to its nose where it kind of rounds off, and it's just almost the same thickness as the tail in this particular one. But you'll notice you guys should know or be learning about the parts of the fish. So you have the fish and you have the tail, the dorsal fin, the pectoral fins there, and eyes and a mouth, of course. So we are going to be drawing koi, which you probably have figured out by now, and you need to think about the parts of the body of a koi and the vegetation that it lives amongst in a pond. So here's some more. How many koi? Can you count them? Let's see, there's 1, 2, there's one hiding, 3, 4, and then did you see that one, the one hiding there? 5. So that one has 5, 3 which you can really see, and 2 that are kind of hiding. And again, notice the lily pads and that really pretty flower. And this guy's blowing bubbles, which is interesting. Whoops, some of these guys are blowing bubbles. So there is another one. This one is out of the United States. And another, this one is a nice painting of a koi. And you can't really see the dorsal fin very well. It's just like a line, if you notice. These little bits of dorsal fins and their little tiny whiskers. This one actually has the lily pads, but also notice it also is introducing another critter. So that's a dragonfly. So dragonflies like to hang around ponds, and maybe that koi is thinking about eating some lunch today with that delicious dragonfly. I don't know. The dragonfly doesn't look too worried about it. And here's one that is more abstract. And abstract means it doesn't look realistic. So this one definitely doesn't look realistic. They just look like whoosh, brush strokes on there. But the thing that makes you know that it is fish, that you're looking down on fish that look like they're moving, is if you notice these leaves, those leaves are not abstract. Those leaves look more realistic. And so because of that, Like if you just saw this by itself, maybe you would think fish, or maybe you just think a stroke of red somebody did on there. But once you add these little leaves, it becomes more obvious that those are fish swimming by underneath. So there's movement to this one, even though it's not super realistic. So anyway, that is my koi presentation, and let's get to drawing. Okay, so we are gonna go ahead and practice drawing some carp or koi. This is just scrap paper. You can see it's been torn. It's just trash paper. So we're gonna just practice here. All right, so the first thing that you're gonna do is decide the direction that your koi is swimming. The first one we're gonna do is just a koi that's going straight so that you can get the idea of how to draw it. So let's start with a straight line. That's the movement of our koi. That's like its backbone. Think about that as the center of the fish if you're looking down at it. And we'll make this the mouth and this back here the tail. And remember, the mouth and the tail are about the same size, right? When you're looking at it from the top. So the tail, if you remember, it goes from the edge and it goes in towards the spine like that. So it's symmetrical, same on both sides. And then for its body, it gets fatter and then comes back to the mouth. Okay? You want to try to do that on the other side as well. So there's your basic koi's body shape. And then go ahead and erase the spine. And then add your details. So we do want a dorsal fin. So that does follow the spine. That's like a little sliver. Put its eyes, like what you would see from the top. It needs pectoral fins. They're kind of jagged, I guess, right? And it's got these little fins in the back, and then a more interesting tail than that. So we can add a little wobble in there. There you go, there's one. Now that's just a fish, a koi that's swimming straight ahead. Off it goes. Now how about if your fish is turning? If you want to make it a little more interesting, add some visual movement to it. So let's make one that is now turning like that. There's its backbone, okay? We'll go ahead and make, let's make this side the tail and that side the mouth. So same thing, mouth, tail. They should be about the same size. You don't want them to be gigantic because then your fish is going to look strange. So this is the tail. We did the same thing as we did on the straight one, but it's just on a curve. So you're going to get closer to the spine, and then you are going to bring it away from the spine and back to the mouth. All right? And the same thing here, away from the spine and back to the mouth. So there's your curved one. And erase this guy, this center line. Now be careful, you want this to be a really smooth line. So check and make sure it's smooth. You don't want a little lump or something because, you know, they're not pregnant, they lay eggs, right? So they're not gonna have a big old bloop right there. So check yours. All right, and then he needs, or she needs, a dorsal fin, some eyes. Ooh, you know what? I almost forgot whiskers. Oh no. Whiskers. Okay, oh, and to swim, definitely needs some pectoral fins here going on. That looks like a shark. I think I need to bring those in a little bit. Don't you think? Does that look sharkish? Maybe I need to look some more at what they look like. It's got these little back fins. Did anyone figure out the name of those guys? And make this tail just a tad more interesting. All right, so there we go. There's one going another direction. All right, and let's do another. How about going, whoa, that's a very shaky backbone there. How about one going this way? All right, we're gonna do mouth, tail. All right, and same thing, start at the tail and go in towards the spine, right? Same on both sides, it's going towards that spine. And then smoothly away from the spine and join. And away from the spine, oh, and join. There we go. Should look like a curved drumstick if you eat drumsticks. All right, and it needs the dorsal fin, which is right along that backbone. It needs the eyes. Of course, we can't forget this guy has just little whiskers. He's a little guy. And the pectoral fins here. He's turning, so I guess this one is like splayed out a little bit. Got to give him some interesting movement there. Using his muscles, her muscles, I don't know. Male, female, who knows? All right, so there's straight and turning, turning. So now that you've kind of practiced this, remember this is just your practice paper. Also think about vegetation. So the easiest things are lily pads. Those are basically just circles with a split, almost like Pac-Man. See that? Okay, and they come in different sizes. They can even like overlap each other a little bit. Yeah. All these little, this one just has a little tiny one. So practice doing some lily pads, and if you want to add, you know, a little dragonfly. That's a terrible dragonfly. Good thing it's scrap paper. What do they look like? Are they longer on top or longer on the bottom, shorter on the bottom? I'm not really sure. Okay, well anyway, that's your scrap paper. That's what it's for. So once you have figured out how to draw your basics, then you need to go ahead and get yourself your cardstock. So let me go grab that. All right, I have my cardstock. All right, now then I'm gonna go ahead and draw my final one. And the first thing you wanna do is figure out placement of your carp. So remember, we start with the backbone. So I'm first gonna draw all the backbones of my carp. So I'm gonna have one going that way, one going that way, and maybe one going off the page. Boop. This is a nice big pond, so you just see like part of it. All right, now that I kind of have the placement for where I want my carp to all be, I've got their little backbones all drawn in there. Maybe I'll want another one over here later. I don't know, I might erase that. Mouth, tail. And you are going to draw your final ones just the same as you were drawing your sketch ones. As you draw, I want you to remember to go ahead and draw your own carp in the direction that you want them to be going. I don't want it to look like mine. I want you to decide how many carp you want or how few carp you want. You need at least one carp in there, or koi. Remember, carp and koi can be used interchangeably a lot of times. And also remember that this is like a little snapshot of a much bigger pond. So try to have some of your carp with half their bodies off the page so that it looks like there's a big pond out there and you're just seeing just a little bit of them. And as you start drawing your vegetation, so here I'm doing lily pads, I want you to make them different sizes and let them go right off the page. Feel free to also add flowers or insects as well. You know, if you want to make it even more interesting, you could even like overlap. If you feel like, you know, doing something fancy, you are always free to do fancy. There, now it looks like that fish is like actually swimming underneath, coming out from under that lily pad. What do you think? I think I like it, except I think I want a bigger lily pad. This is why we've drawn pencil, you guys. I know you know that, but even I make mistakes. Oh yeah, that fish was just hiding under there. Maybe there's another one right here. There's like a whole little family of lily pads that lives here, I've decided. There we go. Oh yeah, that's exciting. Okay, I like this. I think I can hang out right there. All right, so then your next step is to grab a Sharpie and outline it all. I'm going to speed that up for you so you're not stuck watching me do this. Now, all I need to do is erase all my lines, all my pencil marks, and I'm going to speed this up too. All right, ready for the next step. Oh, you know what? Write your name. Forgot the name. Name. I'll write your own name, of course. All right, now that it is beautiful, all your pencil lines are erased. Oops, except for that one. Hello. Don't you wish you could just fast forward your erasing part? Oh my gosh, I wish I could too. It's only cool on the video because I can totally do that on video. All right, so your next step is you are going to draw some curly cues with your pencil. You want to do that really lightly. So here's what you're going to do. Big curly cues. Big, 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 big. Don't make them teeny tiny little things. Big. See how big that is? All right. You want to make sure you've gone over every fish and every lily pad. I have clearly not gone over a lot of stuff. So let's do it again. Ooh, very nice. That's a little bit better. We're still missing some. You can kind of see where we need to kind of guide this. We need to do this. Oh, yes. Whoa. Oh my gosh, that has gotten complicated, but I like it. So let's continue with that. You know what, I guess that'll work. All right, now that you have done that, your next step is colors. You are not going to outline these curly cues with Sharpie. Leave it as pencil, all right? So next, you're gonna pick your colors for your greenery and your water and your fish. And you're gonna pick a nice variety of all different hues. So you're gonna want dark blues and light blues, dark greens and light greens, and depending on what color you chose for your koi, you want a variety of those. I'm going with oranges and yellows because I feel that for this particular art piece, this orange and yellow is really going to stand out against this blue and green. So what you're going to do is you're going to start with the greenery, and you are going to pick one of your colors and begin. So I'm going to start with this lily pad over here. And in these little sections, you are going to pay attention to your pencil marks that you drew. So as I color in this lily pad, I'm staying within this little section, all right? And and I'm coloring it so that you don't see any white spots. You want it really good, solid color. All right. Now, to keep going, I can't have this color of green touching the same color of green. So I can't use this one right down here. It needs to be a different shade of green. So I can go darker or I can go lighter, but I can't use the same. So I'm gonna go darker, all right? Just for this particular one. And that is like a green blue. That's an interesting color for this lily pad. All right, and I'm going to make sure I do this whole thing really nicely. Oh, look, there's a little line right there. Ooh, I almost missed it. Sometimes I feel like I need glasses so I can see these little details. Alrighty, so I've done that little section, and as you can guess, as I continue, I am going to move on to one of these two, and of course a different version of green. Now here's a super light green. It's nearly yellow. It's still in the green family. It's actually called lemon yellow. Interesting, except maybe they've decided that lemon yellow is similar to green, similar to limes. So it's definitely not a cool, it's a cool yellow instead of a warm yellow. Do you see that it's more greenish? It's more bluey versus like this yellow. That is definitely a warm yellow. Very different from each other. Okay, so there we go. And my last one here. Let's see, is this the same? That looks the same. Moving on. How about this guy? Oh, that looks like that one. Oh my gosh, I need to sort out my colors. Nope, that's the same. You guys, I think I have so many different boxes of different kinds of colors of color pencils that have been collected over the years that I don't even know. There's crazy colors in here. See if I can blend that guy out. Come on. Okay. Now you can see that this lily pad is 4 different shades of green, and I'm going to continue that for all the lily pads. No matter what, I can't have the same color, the same shade of green touching. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and color and speed it up, and then we'll talk about the water. We'll do the water next. There, now we have all of the lily pads done. You can start seeing this curly cue come into play. All right, so now I can get rid of all of my greens, which were all these guys, and move on to blues. I'm going to do the same thing with my blues, dark blues and light blues, and coloring really nicely. So we'll start off with this. What is this guy? Blue. Ha, how very clever. Alrighty, and here we go.
later.
Woo! All right, so you can see I've got all the cool colors done. I've got all my green and all of my blue, and now all I have left are the carp or the koi, and those words can be used interchangeably. So now I am going to work with my warm colors and do the exact same thing. And you can see that it is very slowly coming along. Oh, you know what? I forgot this blue right in there. Haha. All right, now I'm officially ready. And here we go. Your beautiful carp that's kind of abstract, kind of on the realistic side because you can tell what it is, and you can decide which direction you like it the best. And there you go. Enjoy.